So, hello. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedules to be here. I know that some of you are probably like, oh, I need to go do homework, and others are like, oh, yeah, I have so many duties and things to do. But I'm glad that you're here. And today I'm going to share with you a bit about how my EPG experience, as well as my DFE experience, kind of reshaped what I had in mind for my future career. So, okay. So in order to speak about my direct field experience, I first feel kind of the need to hit the rewind button and share with you a bit about what led to me caring so much about art and access to the arts. So when I graduated high school, my legal status didn't allow me to go to university. So I was kind of left without many things to do. So I had a choice, either to kind of feel defeated by my circumstances and my fears, or to kind of get beyond that, step beyond that, and use kind of that resilience that is very common to immigrants, and use that to push through my fears and circumstances and to find something to do with my life. One second. So in the month following my high school graduation, I kind of decided to do this funky thing where I would just go on random walks and decide to go into random businesses and just talk to people and make friends, because why not? So this one day, I decided to walk into this theater called Mixed Magic Theater, and I introduced myself to the director, and next thing you know, I was able to volunteer for him, and it was the most fabulous experience ever. I really enjoyed my time at Mixed Magic. Mixed Magic, even though it sounds like magicians work there, it's not a place where magicians gather. It's just a wonderful theater that puts together amazing African American plays. So while ushering there one day, the stage manager told me about this free arts organization called AS220 Youth. And I felt the need to apply, but I thought, well, my legal status won't allow me to apply. So basically, I decided to put that aside and email the director. And then she replied, and she said, well, come by and fill out an application. That doesn't matter to us. So that's what I did. And in the next few months, I made of AS220 kind of my school and my sanctuary. And I learned so many things because they just had amazing facilities. I had access to a dark room, to laser cutters, to the most amazing things that you could imagine as an artist. So that was life-changing for me. To give some context, AS220 is partnered with the Juvenile Detention Facility of Rhode Island, as one of their core notions is that a troubled past is not a prescription for inevitable failure, and I firmly support their mission. Now, I found a quote that I think is relevant for this talk, said by former U.S. Secretary of Education, Arne Duncan, and they said, the arts can no longer be treated as a frill. Arts education is essential to stimulating the creativity and innovation that will prove critical for young Americans competing in a global economy. So I believe that providing free arts education is imperative, because it creates an even playing field, right? Youth are vulnerable people are able to have access to these amazing tools and environments that will then help them to engineer a future that involves creativity, innovation, and societal change. I've experienced firsthand what an free arts education can do. So it only felt logical for me to now kind of try to find a way in which I could figure out if I enjoyed teaching And if I indeed like teaching, that would mean that I would be able to use teaching as my way of giving back to the community that I deeply care about. So how did I find my internship? Over the years, I've been receiving emails from a free job server through Brown University. And that's actually how I've gotten most of my jobs. So if you're interested in working in Rhode Island or finding an internship, I would totally recommend signing up because it's free and anyone can access it. You don't need to be a Brown student or faculty. So it's just fabulous. And I use that. I had seen every summer a post about this art opportunity to teach art at an organization called City Arts. And at the time, like, I just didn't feel qualified to take such an opportunity. I mean, at points when I lived in Rhode Island, I didn't feel that I could call myself an artist, and I also didn't feel qualified to teach. But after being here at Berea for many semesters and taking extremely intense studio courses, I now felt better equipped to take on such a task. So I applied for the position and got accepted. One second. So my experience of finding an internship was kind of pleasant in the sense that I kind of built rapport with key individuals in the organizations I was interested in way early in the game. So I recommend that you do the same. In terms of challenges, my biggest challenge was trying to balance my coursework, my labor position, while at the same time filling out all these applications, translating my resume into Spanish, and just like finding time in my schedule to do phone interviews. Those took up a lot of time. So I applied to a total of 3 internships, and I was accepted to all of them, except one of them I kind of had to let go of because it was in Colombia, and I didn't plan ahead enough for the internship office to like fund me. So, and the other one, well, I just decided to go for this art internship, which was an amazing experience. I'm sorry, I really want to like be super precise with my wordings, which is why I decided to really rely on this device. So forgive me if I'm taking huge long pauses. I joined City Arts not only for professional development purposes, but also because of my commitment to being involved in providing free arts education to people, more specifically to Providence youth. So during the school year, City Arts offers school classes, after school classes, both at middle schools and at the City Arts building. During the summer, City Arts trains teaching artists in June, such as myself, and then they provide free art camp for a total of 1 month, divided kind of in 2 week sessions. So I had the pleasure of working with 2 groups of wonderful students. Another initiative that they have, which is kind of cool if you're ever interested in doing in applying for the same experience, is that they send groups of teaching artists to Boys and Girls Clubs. So before arriving at City Arts, I had planned out how to deal with people, like students asking me about my armpit hair. And I know, like, priorities, like why would I plan such a thing? But it just felt adequate, you know? I had to do it. So I planned out that a student was gonna come up to me and be like, "Miss, why are your armpits so hairy?" And I would be like, "Really? Like, I just shaved this morning." But even though a student did in fact ask me about my body hair, it didn't really grant my amazing joke strategizing. So that was that, plus half of my cohort of teaching artists also had hairy armpits, so it wasn't that big of a deal, and I felt at home. So on a more serious note, I chose to work at City Arts with two objectives in mind. First, I wanted to learn how to write lesson plans. Thank you. And to craft curriculums. So why did I want to do that? Because even if I didn't want to teach long term, I felt that that would kind of prepare me for future opportunities after I graduate, such as doing Peace Corps and teaching English abroad. So I thought it was super relevant. And then second, I wanted to build a valuable network. And I don't mean that in a superficial way. I mean just building a network of people who will support you long term and just like empower you as a human being. That little girl was like the cutest person ever. So nice. Anyway, so during my first week, I arrived to work early every day. I got to know amazing artists. We did training for 3 weeks. Then the weeks after that was when camp started. And the way in which camp worked is that we came up with a project. So we wanted to make self-portraits with the students. And then we planned out that in like per day. So let's see. I'm running out of time, which is very sad. So I have to skip over a bunch of things. So I got assigned a teaching partner and assistants for the classroom. So that was amazing because if I would have been in the classroom by myself, that would have been a little intimidating. They were very supportive and we were able to just do amazing projects. Like these are amazing. They're all amazing. That's one of my group of students. I want to touch on some key things. In terms of successes, my biggest success was being able to build the relationships with the students and being able to guide them in a way that made sense. Many people told me like, ooh, watch out for middle schoolers, but they were just amazing. I don't really understand why they did that. And in terms of like EPG abilities that I was able to explore during my internship, one of the key ones is ethical structures. I realized that behavior management is super problematic and that what is needed in the classroom is for more caring educators to be willing to let go of conventional power dynamics and to think of creative ways to engage students and to create environments that in itself take care of issues that often arise. Also, with my teaching partner, we successfully guided the young artists through working and thinking about aspects of their identity, and as a result, we created the self-portraits over a week, which was quite impressive because it takes me way longer to make something that looks half as nice as what they made. Some other EPG abilities that came up during my internship were dealing with uncertainty and ambiguity, as well as facilitating groups. And even though we had 3 weeks of training, sometimes I felt buried in uncertainty because I didn't know how to write exemplary lesson plans, and I knew that the young artists deserved quality instructions and instructors. So the saying that practice makes perfect fits here. Thank you. And as time went on, that ambiguity kind of was eliminated, and I felt a lot more confident about stepping into the classroom and doing a good job. So in terms of what's next, I'm applying hopefully for a graduate program in California at SoCa University in educational leadership and societal change, which is something that I hadn't considered before. And I'm also considering Peace Corps and applying for the Watson Fellowship. So thank you so much for listening.